Hi Taurus, it's Honey Priestess. Welcome back to my, oh not welcome back, it's probably your first time on my channel. Well, hopefully you've been checking out the other videos, but if not, welcome to my channel. This is the reading for Taurus, the general reading for Taurus for November 2019. But if you're not a Taurus and it's not November 2019 and you were still guided here, you're still in the right place, okay? Any information that you might need is in the description box below, including what to expect with these readings, how you should be interpreting these readings, and any other information you might need, okay? Let's get started. So, first, we're going to do the oracle cards. I have Indecision, card number 8 in this deck. Broken Heart, card number 9 in this deck. 46, the Thinking Man, breaking down to a 1, 10, 1. And Healer of the Ages, 51, breaking down to a 6. I like seeing that there. And at the bottom of the deck, we have number 1, the Sun. How cute is that? All right, Taurus. All right. Oh, God. Some of y'all are debating going back to your exes. Let's just get that out. It's not everyone. And I don't necessarily get that. And I want to say this isn't for, this is like single. These are single Tauruses that I'm speaking to at this time, who haven't already learned whatever lessons are going to be coming up in this reading. But you might be considering going back to an ex or somebody you ended things with because maybe you decided to do this whole healing thing and really dealing with your feelings thing, and it's not really cute. It's not really glamorous, you know? I think you're really hurt. And I think there's a part of you that's like, I know I shouldn't go back. Like, you know. I don't have to break that down to you. But it's just hard for you. Like, healing is hard, you know? It's taking a little longer than you wanted it to. And I think you're starting to realize that you have more codependency issues than you realize. Like, you're starting to realize that you might have somewhat of a need to have someone around. Like, this Mercury retrograde, you're the ex that's coming back around. Oh, guys. But I think healing from not having your ex is harder than you thought it would be. It's lonelier than you thought it would be. You know? And I don't really get the sense that a lot of you were actually happy in the past relationship, which is what makes this interesting to me. Like, you guys, I feel like you guys were, and not the initiators in leaving, it was definitely mutual with you giving like a hell yeah, I'm ready to go. I don't need this anymore. So you wrestling with this is a bit of a surprise to you, I think, because you were so happy to go and you were so ready to go. I think you knew you cared about this person, but I don't think you knew how much, right? And it's coming out. But I think, I'm not trying to take away any, like, the way that you felt about your ex, but it's almost like really what's happening is you're, like, suffering from the loneliness than you are, like, you're suffering from loneliness, and I feel like you're in that stage where you're going over the good things. And you're like, well, maybe it was worth it, and maybe we can work it out, maybe we had some time away, or, you know, and you keep hitting this point where you're like, no, this is really not for me. But the loneliness is hard. That's how it goes. I think you're trying to find ways in your life to kind of glaze over that pain or heal that indirectly. Because you're not really healing it up front. Like you're trying to bring, like you're throwing yourself into your work, or like you're trying to find ways to cope with this. And I don't think it's completely unhealthy. But I think what I'm trying to say is you're not sitting with the issue. Like you're dealing with the pain or whatever, but you're not really sitting with the issue, which is the codependency. You're not really sitting with that very well. I think you're sitting with the pain of not having your ex around more than you're sitting with the pain of just being lonely and feeling like you need somebody. That's a much deeper issue you have to address, right? But I do think healing is possible. The sun is kind of telling me that. Also under that, we have contracts and action. Okay. This is telling me that there is a possibility for healing and being happy and really moving forward in a way that's healthy for you, so that you're able to build healthier relationships, right? There's a way to heal that you can really act on that will kind of change the way you experience people and the way that you quote unquote need people. And it's weird because I don't really think that you guys are like financially like in terms of taking care of yourself. I think you guys can take care of yourself very, very well, right? Like you can give yourself the stability and everything you want. It's really an emotional thing that's going on here, especially with that contract card and that action. It's just, to me, it's like going down a whole new path karmically, in terms of your relationships and just having healthier ones down the line. A lot of you guys are in relationships that were not good for you. And I want to, let me be careful how I phrase that. I think you were in relationships where it wasn't working for a while. And there was a lot of compromising of self. And I think that's why you're ready to go. Because after a while, a Taurus can only compromise so much, okay? There are some things they're willing to compromise, but they're pretty strong individuals. And if they can't just be themselves and be happy, like, even though they'll commit to whatever they chose to commit to, it's too much tension. And I feel like it was too much tension for you to have to choose between being yourself and being in this relationship, or denying who you were in some way, or playing yourself down in some way in order to be in this relationship. Like, you had to move on from that. It was the right decision. But now your loneliness is making you question that. So moving forward, that contract to me is kind of like writing a new story for yourself, creating that new commitment to yourself that allows you to get in healthy relationships from the jump that are for you, where you don't have to compromise or bend. I feel like a lot of you guys are used to compromising or bending. I don't know why I'm getting for mother figures. Just family in general, but mother figures for some reason is coming up. Maybe somebody needs to hear that, but this can apply to parents in general. I don't want to limit that. I don't feel a need to limit that. But you're used to bending yourself and kind of taking care of people. I feel like in your last relationship, you were taking care of them in some way, shape, or form. In some way, shape, or form, it was like you needed somebody to lean on the way they were able to lean on you. And it's not that you couldn't, but I feel like it was a little imbalanced. And then that on top of not really being happy anyway, you just have to go. We are going to get into the spread. I'm going to spend too much time on these oracle cards because I have seen these readings will get long and they will go left in a second. I just did Aries, if you have Aries in your chart. Or maybe you're a tropical Taurus and you feel guided to watch your sidereal Aries video. Honey, it was heavy. It took me out. So I'm just trying to stay alive. Okay? Period. Yeah. You guys can make it through this. You guys will make it through this. But you're going to have to deal with some stuff, man. I'm not going to lie to you. Excuse me, this Mercury retrograde is coming for people's throats. There hasn't been one reading that's just like, oh my God, everything's just going fantastic. Like, no. Mercury retrograde is going for every sign possible. Period. Woo. Chile. Temperance is falling out. I haven't set the intention for the cards, but I do pay attention to what falls out. Okay, guys. Let's do it. Spirit, what message do you have for the Taurus Collective for November 2018? Spirit, what message do you have for the Taurus Collective for November 2019? Whoa, 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 whoa. Spirit, what message do you have for the Taurus Collective for November 2019? Spirit, what message do you have for the Taurus Collective for November 2019? Spirit, what message do you have for the Taurus Collective for November 2019? Last shuffle. No, I'm not taking all those cards, I'm sorry. Okay, I'll leave that one. So do you have, okay. I said I'm not taking all those cards, we just threw more out. Alright, y'all. Be petty, it's fine. Let me get some water, you guys, if you don't mind. Cause child, I'm telling you that last reading took me out. Took me out. I'm gonna just get a sip of everything I have by me. Chile, including the wine. Excuse me, insults. Don't need too much of that. That's Merlot. It's gonna get me there way too fast. Just a sip. So, we have the Nine of Pentacles. We have the King of Wands. We have the King of Cups. We have the Seven of Wands reversed. We have the Two of Wands. We have the Ace of Pentacles. I love a good Ace of Pentacles. And we have the Knight of Swords. And then at the bottom of the deck, let me turn this deck over because I'm going to pull this one out. We have the Page of Swords. Oh, Page of Swords. Oh, with that Temperance card underneath. I told you fell out earlier. That's why it fell, so I could see that. Okay, y'all. Okay. I feel like a lot of you guys found it really hard to let your guard down in your last relationship. And you had to rely a lot on how much you loved yourself and made yourself happy. This might have even led to some kind of overindulgence in the last, like, maybe you cheated a little bit, you know, or you had to find other ways to basically sustain your happiness because the last relationship was just so draining on an emotional level. And there was a lot of passion that I feel like you have naturally that wasn't fully reciprocated or appreciated in the last relationship, or you couldn't express it the way you wanted to express it. You know, I just feel like you might have loved them, you know, but you couldn't you couldn't go there. You couldn't be like full, passionate, romantic, dreamy Taurus who just loses their mind, is never leaving type. You know, you might have been committed, but it didn't have that dreaminess to it, that romance to it. You know, Taurians are quite, everyone knows Tauruses, whatever, are romantic. But I don't think they understand like just how dreamy their romance fantasies can be, you know. You want a fairy tale, you know, in real life. Period. Okay, you understand you can't get picked up in the carriage, but if they really wanted to arrange the carriage ride, okay, they would do it, and that's the relationship Taurus wants. Period. It didn't have all that. It didn't have the makings for all that. I think you're very clear on that. And like I said, I just feel like there is a lot of, I don't know if I said this, but anyway, there's just a lot of not being able to be vulnerable because you had to be the strong one. And it would really do a lot for Taurus is to have somebody to depend on. Because they're very, very independent. That's just their makeup. And a lot of you guys are very big role, like have strong roles in your family. I know my mom's Taurus moon, like she's the woman, okay? Her mother is a double Taurus. Matriarch, period. Strong one. You guys are like cornerstones to your families, right? I think you like that role. I think that role makes you happy. You're very family, friend oriented. Friends are family, you know, when you get close enough. It's just how you are. You're always looking out for yourself. You're always good, okay? But that doesn't mean when it comes to romantic relationships, especially, that's where you need to have somebody who's dependable, somebody you can lean on. You didn't have that. Fully. Not going to dog out your ex. Because I don't think they were trash people. I just think they were self-concerned in ways or just weren't able to handle somebody like that. They weren't like that. Right? They just weren't like that with you. Sucks. But how it goes sometimes. Yeah. This King of Wands and King of Cups. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm trying to figure out if I need to say the things I'm getting. I don't. I think it's just for me to know personally. But yeah, with the King of Wands and the King of Cups, I'm getting somebody that might have been dealing with depression, like emotional issues. You might have had somebody who wasn't very stable, didn't have a lot of stability in their life, were always just fumbling, trying to find it. You might have been dealing with a creative or somebody who just like could not find their footing, and it was just like fluctuations of passion. Like you would have moments where you would see them just in their element and you'd be like, oh my God, like, can I just have that daily? Can I just have this person daily? But you couldn't get this person daily because they dealt with too many emotional issues, or, you know, they were always fluctuating. They were moody. They were always going through something. Like there was just no stability. So you served stability, and that was comfortable for a while. You felt like that was a role you could assume, but you needed that. And you needed room to be moody, and you needed room to be emotional, and you didn't really have that. It was a really taxing relationship because you kind of had to be the stable person in a relationship while the other one fucked around. And again, I'm not trying to dog the ex. I don't think they're bad people. I think they were just going through a lot, and I don't think this was the right pairing. Like, I really don't know how to say that any better. I think in the perfect world it would have been a good pairing, but the timing was off for some of you. For others of you, you guys were just again, that's timing. Just different areas of your journey. And I don't think that you guys can make where you guys were at in your own personal lives work with each other. right? Just the destinies were not aligned. Not at that time. Pushed it, tried to make it work, made it worse. Now it's like it's really over. And it's better for both of you guys. Two of Wands, Ace of Pentacles, Knight of Swords. Now it's up to you to create the life that you want for yourself. And I think you're going to the thing you naturally go to. You go to, how do I create more stability for myself, right? And I feel like you're trying to think your way out of it, or it's like, oh, I have an idea, and you go after that idea, and it feels cyclical, you know, like maybe you have this good idea for what to do, to involve yourself in, and yeah, it's making you happy, but it's not fulfilling you the way you want it to fulfill you, right? There's something missing. What video was this? Was this Cancer? There might be like a really drastic change that you have to make. Maybe it's a move, but there might be a drastic change that you have to make in your life. I think that drastic change comes through this healing. You might already know what that is, but okay. So you might already know what that drastic change is, or what those things that you want to manifest, those goals that you have that would make you happy. And I think one of the things that you're doing right now is you might be working towards one of those goals, and you're realizing you're not as happy as you should be. Well, yeah, you're missing a whole big chunk of this, which is healing the codependency issue right now. It's healing the codependency issue. And I think this Page of Swords with this Temperance underneath, I think this is kind of going within, or getting a message that's very, very clear that you're not doing what you need to be doing. Like, you got to go a different way. There could be some type of divine message, clarity for you. It could even be this reading, just hearing that you need to do something else. You need to move a different way. And you need to like really deeply heal. And you need to know that you're going to be supported in that process. Instead of impulsively going after every idea that you think is going to make you happy. You know? You don't want to get to the point where the things that you should be enjoying and should be experiencing a lot of fulfillment from just leads you back to this space of trying to figure out another thing that's going to make you happy, right? You want to be able to see those gifts and those blessings that are coming in your life as gifts and blessings, not coping mechanisms or things to keep you from not dealing with what you need to deal with. I don't really feel a need to clarify a lot of these cards. I think I'm going to clarify the Two of Wands, because I feel like this is where you're making that decision to repeat the cycle, or go into the cycle of just, okay, I have an idea, I'm going to go after it. You know, of going after the things that are meant to make you, or meant to be fulfilling for you, and looking to them as sources of happiness. It starts at this Two of Wands. So we're going to clarify that. I have a deck that has been trying so hard to get more playtime. And I love this deck. I just reach for the other ones faster, but it's like, please put me to game, coach. So I'm using it today. She shuffles really well. Like, that's how I know she's ready to play. Like, period. Almost feels like a he. I don't know. Shuffles so well. I know y'all ready to talk. Y'all doing great. I love you, okay? Alright, y'all. Can I get clarity for this Two of Wands for Taurus, November 2019? Clarity for Two of Wands for, whoa, I didn't realize those were two cards. This card keeps falling out. for Taurus. Jeez. November 2019. Clarity for the Two of Wands / shuffle. I'm not taking all those cards, I'm sorry. I'll do one more shuffle though if you want something else to fall out. Okay. Yes. We have Temperance. Again. Falling out again. Seven of Staffs with the Seven of Wands. We have that reversed in that main spread. Knight of Cups. The Death card. And the Hermit. With, at the bottom of the deck, Ace of Staffs or Ace of Wands. I think you've gotten, I think you've actually gotten the sign to deal with, like, codependency issues. And an inability to depend on people. Just talking to another sign about this. Inability to depend on people. And I don't mean that, like, everyone is unreliable kind of way. I mean it more as everyone is so, like, you're so used to people relying on you that you don't know how to not, you don't know how to rely on someone else, even though you deserve it and you want it. You're always the protector, the provider, the lover. I mean, you just cover all bases, like some good, like a good ass mom would, you know. Like, you cover every base often, and this is really that chance to kind of heal that. I think the codependency comes from the need to be needed, because that's all you know how to do. Like, you only know how to be needed, and so it's like you're confusing love with people needing you, and it messes you up every time because in the end you realize you're not really happy. But because you're so committed to that role, you end up sitting there unhappy. You don't know why you're unhappy. You're confused and trying to figure it all out. And then you're like, I gotta go. Then you're sitting here like, wow, I really am longing for companionship. Well, yeah, because that's the closest thing you've had to it. Like, people who are, like, attached to you. And reverse the roles if necessary, because you might not know, like, what a healthy relationship looks like unless you feel just inexplicably attached in a way that you just can't pull away from. Like, you have to need them. There's an element of your relationships that is based in needing, on both ends. I actually want to get the sense that, like, I really want to say, like, I don't think that it's like you don't love who you've been with, or they've never loved you or anything like that. I don't really want to communicate that message, but I think, like, the love it's like you feel a need to love others on a total level. Excuse me. And sometimes you attract people who don't want to do that for you, or don't know how to do that for you. But I don't even know that you know how to do it for yourself. You might know how to be stable and take care of your business and do all of that, but do you know how to, like, really love yourself on that level? And I'm not talking about, oh, you know, I don't like my personality type self-love. I'm talking about when you're emotionally not being cared for in certain spaces. Like, do you know how to choose the people to be in your space? Do you know how to choose the practices that you need in your own personal life so that you are emotionally supported? It's like it's the emotion, right? Yeah, you might do your face masks. Yeah, you might, you know, go out. Yeah, you might buy yourself things. Yeah, you might have everything down packed on a physical material level. But when it gets to taking care of yourself on an emotional level and making sure that your surroundings support your emotional well-being, you know how to stay afloat, but you don't really know how to love yourself and cater to yourself. That's what's coming up, because it's coming up in your partnerships. So then it's almost like the breakup, you're missing the person, but you're dealing with the disappointment of yet again not having that fulfillment. And it's becoming clear how badly you want it. You think it's one of your ex back. No. No, they weren't for you. You knew that. It's about having the closest thing to a love that nourishes you that you want back. Right? That narrative has to come to an end and you have to go within. Period. You're going to keep repeating the cycle of staying afloat and making every other part of your life beautiful and work for you and be great. And then you're going to end up in another relationship like this. And it's time for you to experience the kind of love you're looking for, where you're not looking for a relationship out of need or getting caught up on what you want to be, this romantic fantasy, with something that really at face value for what it is right now isn't that, right? For you to stop investing in potential because you have the ability to withstand the storm for however long until you get to that point. It's not about that, boo. It's not about that. Your commitment can be, it can like not go to waste, you know? And I feel like you're such a solid person that it's like, stop letting it go to waste. Stop letting it go to waste. And being committed to people who drain you, who don't nourish you, right? Stop living this life where you're like incomplete. Because I feel like that's how a lot of you feel. You have to let that narrative die and be willing to say, okay, what's going on? What do I need to heal from? Again, the mother figure, the mother thing is coming up. I don't know why it's coming up, just family issues that you might have to work through. You might have to renegotiate your boundaries with your family or with people in your life to accommodate what you need. I don't feel like you have people, you just don't have anyone around you who can't do this for you, you know? I think an understanding that you do have people who can do this for you and allowing them to do it for you is big, and it's probably a part of just admitting it to yourself and having these conversations with them. But you're going to have to redefine your boundaries at times. Give somebody a no. Tell them, hey, I need something from you right now. I need this. I need that. I would really take the time to sit and analyze what you need out of your relationships on an emotional level. Period. 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 This Ace of Wands at the bottom of it, and there's the Ace of Cups under that. My God. It's telling me there's incredible possibility for you to love and be loved in a way that is passionate and emotionally fulfilling. Okay? You don't have to sacrifice. You can have that fairy tale that you want. Pretty straightforward message here. Be thankful, because some of the messages other people have gotten. My God. But you're going to have to look at your relationships again and see what you need out of them that you're not getting, or what more you need out of them. And I think it's a blessing that you're going to have people who are very supportive of that. But you have to do it. And that means admitting to yourself that you got some issues to deal with. It's not going to be easy, but again, there's assistance with it. And I feel like you have the added benefit of having goals. Like, you're not completely lost in life. You have a pretty good footing, so you have the room to do this kind of healing and to do it effectively and smoothly. Not everybody has conditions like this to be able to heal. That doesn't mean it's going to be any less painful. It just means you are in a better space than most to heal. Honestly. Talk to your mommies, y'all. Please. I know why I keep getting that. I really don't feel a need to clarify anything else. I'll get a quick... Yeah, I don't feel like I really need to, but I'll just get a quick clarification for the Ace of Pentacles. I say I don't need to because I feel like this is just like your goals, the gifts, the blessings you keep receiving. You know, this is what you want in life. These are some of the goals you have in life, or things you see yourself doing, enjoying. These cards is ready to talk to y'all, moving like angels. Shuffling like angels. Y'all got angels too. Look at that. It's like fluttering. I know you can't see it. Okay. Clarity for the Ace of Pentacles for Taurus, November 2019. Nothing falls out. I won't force it. Just kidding. Something fell out. Clarity for Ace of Pentacles. Two more shuffles. Okay, look at that Ace of Wands at the bottom of the deck again. We have the Knight of Cups, the Nine of Wands, and the Four of Wands. Ace of Wands at the bottom of the deck again. Under that, the Hierophant. Yeah. This is like, again, these are the things that are going to make you happy. These are your goals. These are things that are emotionally fulfilling for you. But they're never going to have the level of emotional fulfillment. I think that's what this Nine of Wands is about. The frustration with it not having the level of fulfillment that you expect it to have. Because the foundation of really understanding and having surroundings and relationships that support your emotional needs, and allowing them to work in your life, and just that understanding of everything we talked about earlier, it's important to heal that mindset on a deep level in order for these things to be as fulfilling as they're meant to be, right? Your wounds are blocking your ability to enjoy life the way that you're meant to enjoy life, even if you're doing everything right on the surface. You're not addressing the cause. I just said this in another reading about, like, if you have a headache from dehydration, you can take ibuprofen to treat the headache. But if you're not drinking water, you're not treating the actual cause of the problem. You're just treating the symptom, right? You doing whatever you're doing that feels inspiring and, you know, accomplishing things on your checklist and knocking off goals, that's your ibuprofen. You need to drink water. The water of your emotions. I need to go to bed. Four of Wands is that loyalty, that fairy tale that you're looking for. And I think that you are trying to, like, it's like this emotional understanding is being blocked. Like, you're trying to be like, oh, I just want to be happy and get to my Four of Wands, and these blocks are there, and you're trying to figure out why you can't get here. Well, look at all these damn wands you have to weave through. This is a huge blockage. You got to get this out the way so you can go straight to what you want. But you got to understand what that is. This Ace of Wands, this Hierophant underneath, tells me that you can absolutely have what you want, but it's about restructuring yourself and your mindset on a very deep level. You have to operate from a completely different mindset, okay? I feel like that reading, I hope that reading resonated for you guys, and this is directed towards a lot of single Tauruses. I actually feel like a lot of Tauruses are in relationships might be like solid right now. Maybe this theme isn't coming up for you. Maybe you haven't left that person that's not for you. But I feel like a lot of Tauruses are in healthy relationships actually right now. At least for the purposes of this reading, I feel like there are a lot of solid Tauruses out there who are really doing what's making them happy right now, or already working towards it. This is just for the people who are longing for a little more and can't quite get a grip on it. That's okay. So, we are going to do advice for you guys. I want to do another reading. I want to get as many done as I can. I'm not sleepy, but I'm just energetically that Aries reading was something else, man. It really was. And the reason I'm shuffling so much is because I haven't, reset the cards from the last reading. So this is just resetting it so it can go into your energy and your energy alone. Okay. Alright, Taurus. Let's get some advice for you for November 2019. And please get advice for Taurus for November 2019. 3 more shuffles. Advice for Taurus for November 2019. Shuffle. Okay. And final shuffle. Excuse me. Yeah. Whoa. More cards than I thought. Okay. That's fine too. So we have lead, which is basically the Emperor in the main deck. We have release, Death card. Crown chakra here. Solar plexus chakra. 6 of Pentacles, giving and receiving in this deck. And then the 3 of Swords, sadness and isolation. At the bottom of the deck, we have take the lead, which is basically the 3 of Wands. Yeah, these two came out together. Lead and release. Release the need to always be in control and always be the dependable one, right? Release the need to always be on top of everything, and vulnerability is the big thing here. Embrace your vulnerability. It's okay to be vulnerable, and it's okay to expect someone to be there, and it's possible to have someone who can handle you in that state. You have to be in that state for yourself first. If you can't be vulnerable with yourself, don't be looking for everybody else to just force it out of you. Like, you have to make that choice. I feel like you haven't made that choice in one of your relationships before. And if you have made that choice, if you're on the flip side and you're always the one that has to be taken care of, then this is about bossing up and saying, okay, why do I need somebody else to take care of me and my problems? How do I take care of them on my own? And releasing whatever your issue might be, releasing that. This crown chakra and this solar plexus chakra, I don't know why I'm getting this sense of like just your traumas like controlling the way that you move. That's very interesting. Your traumas controlling the way that you move, and just learning what self-love is. Also, this is to me learning what divine love is about. Meditate, right? You know, if you're not very spiritual, just seek an inner balance and inner knowing for yourself of what's going on. You know what I mean? Because this is pretty deep, guys. It runs pretty deep for you guys, right? Don't just go on autopilot and default to what you know. Like, take time to really analyze what's going on and learn that you can have more self-love, it can be more successful, and that you can get that from others. You're not going to be let down every time, but you have to stop letting your own self down. Giving and receiving and sadness and isolation again. Stop just giving or stop only just receiving. Do both. Do both. The sadness and isolation, you are going to have to sit in that space for a bit, but it's to understand it, okay? You don't need to be worried about being in that space too long or being self-pitying too long, because you guys don't like to self-pity much. Like, even the people who are just into receiving, you don't like to self-pity too much. You like to do something about it, right? So if you're in that space where you have to feel through it to understand it, don't try to do something about it immediately. Understand what that feels like and see where those emotions are taking to you on an intuitive level to understand what's going on and how to heal it, you know? Because those emotions are going to show you what you're not getting enough of in your life, or they're going to show you exactly, it's just going to point to the direction that of what you need to heal. Take the lead. Again, this is the card at the bottom of the deck. This is the card about this is just making the choice to deal with this. Don't be passive. Don't try to like fix the problem temporarily, like deal with it head on. Because you can. Because you can. And you should. I think that's going to be it today, Taurus. Thank you so much for checking out my video. I hope to see you guys back later down the line. I don't know why I haven't been saying this in my other videos, but I'm going to be doing romance readings, and I'm also going to do a spiritual reading for energy workers, spiritual workers, and those in the middle of their ascensions, or some type of ascension of any kind. So stay on the lookout for that. I'm also going to do a Mercury retrograde reading where I'm going to do 1 card pulls for each sign about what to expect, and a general reading about the energy that's coming with the Mercury retrograde. And that's it. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I will speak to you soon. Bye, Taurus.